Well, hey guys, welcome back to Waters Family Homestead. All right, I want to show y'all. Look at the little barnyard mix. Now, she's still holding that leg up, but she does walk on it with a little bit of a limp sometimes, most of the time. See, look at there. See, she's walking on it. So, it's getting better, but she's still not 100%. But she's always been very docile, so I'm hoping she'll be a good little stepmom and or foster parent, I should say, and raise these baby chicks for me. So once they get big enough to bring outside, I'm hoping to put them in here with her and let her raise these babies that we've got. Now, I'll show you the babies in a few minutes, but I've got 7. I had 9 eggs that we know were fertile. 8 have hatched, and one of them hatched right after I left for work this morning, and it didn't make it till I got home. So the other 2 hatched last night, and because I had a total of 5 yesterday, 2 last night, they did fine. I put them in the brooder with the other 5 when I got home, and then the one that hatched that didn't make it, I disposed of course. But I've got 1 egg that I counted it earlier, and it doesn't. I don't see any movement in it. It looks like it was about 80%, but it just never finished. So out of 9 that we know were fertile, one of those didn't hatch. The other 8 did, and one of those 8 never made it the first 8 hours. So I've got 7 in the brooder, and I'll show you those in a little bit. And my grandkids and myself, my kids, everybody's wanting me to tame these chickens and hold them a lot and get them to be a little bit like Sue was. He'd let anybody pick them up and hold him and so on. So I'm trying to do that. I don't have a whole lot of time for it, but I am picking them up when I can. I don't want to hold them out so long they get cold. But, I just held the biggest one for about 5 minutes a little while ago, and it seemed to not mind it. So if we can keep that up as they grow up, maybe they'll turn out to be some that can be handled like Sue was. Now, let's get to these hens. The reason I bought that incubator and the one before that I loaned and they said tore up and I never got back, even though I asked for it. I got home today and went to collect the eggs. Now, we got a little bit of rain today. Actually, I haven't even looked at the rain gauge. So, let me come down here and look at it. Look at that. Just barely 1/10 of an inch. Just a little bit over 1/10 of an inch. But not a lot. So I went in the pens and collected the eggs. And I've told y'all the Easter eggers, for whatever reason, have been my best egg layers so far. I got a blue one and 2 green ones, 2 different shades of green from in here today. That's 3 Easter egger eggs, and I got 1 brown egg. Out of all of these hens, I got 1 brown egg and 3 Easter eggs. So 4. Guess how many I got from the Rhode Island Red pen? Now, there's 11 hens over there. Y'all tell me, take a guess, put it in the comments. Tell me how many eggs you think I got from this Rhode Island Red pen with 11 hens and 1 rooster today. So I collected the eggs about, it was close to 6 o'clock. I got home a little bit later than normal. There's a few already getting up in there on the roost. But y'all put it in the comments without cheating and waiting till I'm done. And tell me how many eggs you think I collected from 11 adult hens that should be laying wide open right now with this springtime weather. I don't think anybody will guess correctly. So I've got a total of 24 hens. If there's 11 Rhode Island Reds, that leaves me 13 hens between the black sex links, that one barnyard mix, and the Easter eggers. I got 4 from over here. The last pen. All right. I'm scared I'll forget if I wait till I go show y'all the baby chicks. But here we go. You ready? Have you placed your guess? One egg from this pen today. 11 hens. I got 1 egg. These hens need to go to the freezer. And they're not old. They're just barely a year old. So they're perfect age for butchering and putting in the freezer. And I don't want to do that until I get a bunch of the babies incubated and hatched, so that I know I've got another flock coming. And I'm going to keep the middle pen, all the Easter eggers and the black sex links. And these Rhode Island Reds are going to the freezer as soon as I can. There's just no need in me feeding 11 hens and getting 1 egg. 2, 3, 4. I haven't gotten more than 4 from over here in over a month. So, at least if I did, it was rare, put it that way. But 1 egg out of 11 hens, these ladies got to go to the freezer. So I did go out to the garden today. I went out there before I came and collected the eggs, actually. I'm going to walk back over there. We got 1/10 of an inch, y'all. Maybe just a hair more than that of rain. So I'm not watering today. I did water yesterday. I picked about a half a dozen squash and 1 zucchini. And I picked about a half a dozen early peas over here. Most of them haven't plumped up yet, so I didn't pick those. I only picked the ones that were nice and fat and looked like they were ready to pick. And I put all of it in the refrigerator, so I've probably got a dozen squash in the refrigerator, or close to it. Maybe 10 or 12, 10, something like that. But anyway, I'm picking them smaller than I normally would, just because I don't want the vine borers to get them before I do. But y'all know I dug up these 6 green beans and purple hull peas here that were stagnant like the other 4 over there. And I replanted them, and look at the growth coming on there. So maybe that's going to wake them up from that shock. I even got little tiny leaves on that one. So maybe that's going to wake them up from the shock and they'll start to grow. I don't know. But every year I plant, even though I'm a new raised bed gardener, you know, I used to have a garden back here. It was between 80 and 90 feet long and about 40 feet deep. 30 to 40 feet deep. And I had my chicken pen back there that I could move. And I moved it all back and forth across that pen for several years. So that ground back there was very fertile. And I've added a lot of fertilizer and compost and lime, you know, trying to get that soil built up. I couldn't grow root crops back there, but corn and okra and tomatoes and everything else we planted above ground back there produced really well. It's just hard to keep up with the weeds. So I went to raised bed gardening, as y'all know. And the weeding problem is a whole lot better in raised beds, but it's also easier for me to manage overall. And I can grow root crops. I've got potatoes planted, I've got carrots planted, I've got the onions planted, and the onions look like they're doing really well. And last year, my squash and zucchini in this bed here did fantastic. That's the only one I had squash and zucchini in. This year, I've got 2.5 beds of it. So I planted more. I've got a bed and a half, 8 foot and about 4 foot of potatoes, red and white potatoes. And then all my grow bags, I did tomatoes, as y'all know. the first round of the 11 grow bags tomatoes, none of them would take off and grow. So I planted some in red solo cups in the house, and I brought them out and transplanted them outside. And they look like they're doing okay, but they're not growing. They're just not taking off. And this is really good soil in these bags. I mean, it's all compost and black cow, which is compost, from Lowe's. I mean, it's good soil. None of them will grow. I even replanted 3 here with seeds, and one of them popped up and has not grown. It's still tiny. And I thought I had one pop up over here, but it's just a little stem. Looks like they may come a leaf or two in the next few days, but they're just not growing. So I don't understand. Last year I had tomatoes running out of my ears. I was giving my sister some and giving both my daughters some for their families, and I froze a lot of them. This year I can't get a tomato plant to grow. So I don't know. I may plant some more seeds in those. There comes Louie. I may plant some more tomatoes in those containers that were gifted to me by a viewer, and see if I can't get them to grow and bring them out here once they get big enough. But goodness gracious, y'all, I'm just struggling with tomatoes. I've got some of the older guys that hang out at work, retired electricians and such, that planted way after I did, that have got tomatoes that are 3 feet tall, tomato plants. And I'm sitting here, can't even get mine to get above 6 inches. I don't understand it. But tomatoes just not my thing this year. So, but squash, zucchini, potatoes, carrots, and onions, and early peas are doing really good. So I'll take what wins I can take. But either way, just wanted to show y'all. Let me go inside and show y'all the baby chicks. All right, guys. So you know this is my brooder setup in this large plastic tote that I've cut the top. I've used a regular halogen bulb in there for heat, and I cut the lid so I can open up one side of it and look at them over here. So 2 of them still look a little damp, but I went ahead and moved them because that other one didn't survive. But that large one right there in the middle, that's a little darker yellow than the one bright yellow one over there, but beside it, behind it, that's the one I've been holding. So I'm sure a bunch of them will be held before they're old enough to go outside. Hopefully we can tame them down. And when I put my hand in there, that's the one that ran over to my hand and started pecking at me like, hey, here I am. So that's the one I chose. But they're all pretty. This littlest one here was the next to the last one to hatch. He's got a little old bitty piece, about a 1/4 inch size piece of shell stuck under his, not on his butt, but close to the back end of his belly in there. It's just stuck to the fur, so I didn't mess with it. When he gets good and dry and messes around in there, he should be okay. Hopefully, anyway. But they are cute. I mean, they're only a day old, y'all. So it's not like they're used to me, but we're going to get them there. All right, I'm going to close this thing up. You see my thermometer's pegged out as far as it'll go, way past 80, so it's 90 plus degrees in there, so it's warm enough for them. And I've got thermostat on the house set for 75, so you know I'm staying comfortable, and the chickens are staying warm. And you see their waterer and their feeder, and they've got feed all over the bottom down here. They waste a lot of feed, so the further I move that water away from the feed, the cleaner it'll stay. But anyway, thank y'all for watching. Remember what I've always told you: Jesus Christ loves you, and so do I. Y'all be safe, be prepared.